it slightly, because your party doesn't have a clear position on it. You distanced yourself from the Tony Blair era and said that doesn't apply now, and you mentioned a lot of things Andy Burnham said, but we've heard Louise say that the NHF repeatedly invited Ed Miliband to make a clear statement against privatisation, and I don't believe he has done that. So first of all, how can we trust the Labour Party that they're not going to continue the privatisation that they've been working on the last 10 years, or the last 10 years when they were in power? And if that's the case, if you can't trust them to do that, then what are you going to do about it as a member of the party, and why should we be voting for you in our area? So that's a question for the Labour candidate. And then for everyone, the point why we're all here today mainly is because we're most concerned about Charing Cross. And I understand some of you are standing for Chiswick Riverside, that's in the Hounslow Borough. I've recently been helping Dee Dee in her ward in Hammersmith and Fulham, and I understand that the Tory-led Hammersmith and Fulham Council are the only council in London affected by local hospital closures to not be trying to stop that closure.
Yes.
But I don't think any of you are standing in Hammersmith and Fulham, so what can and are you going to try and do physically, practically, to stop Charing Cross getting sold if you get into the council?
Thank you. Actually, your last question mirrors one we have here, which is, what have you done to save Charing Cross, and what are you planning to do in real terms? So I'm going to save that question for a moment. I think I'm just going to go first to UKIP and then to the Labour Party to talk specifically about those two bits of privatisation questions first. So Simon, you said you were against privatisation and that you distanced yourself from your deputy leader party about it, and this gentleman's asking for clarification. Is that right?
Well, maybe just point that was a brief thing to do. I was putting the pressure onto the Labour candidate to face the same question.
Yeah.
I did add the point in raising the question why you're not standing as an independent, but my question was mainly pointed at the Labour candidate.
Okay. So
can I just add something to that?
no, just hang on just for a second, Dee Dee, because
It's
you
linked.
go on then.
It's all linked to that, because
You have to stand up and project because people can't all hear, or use a microphone, one or the other. Microphone.
It is because we have been going around together, we have been speaking to people in the streets and things like that, in the ward as we've been going around, and the sense of mistrust is enormous. Many people don't know who to vote for and don't want to vote at all, because they can't trust anyone. And the legacy of this mistrust is very powerful, and the only way anybody is going to get over that legacy is to actually have a plan and to come forward and say, this is what we are going to do to save our NHS, and what we are going to do to save our hospitals. And if they don't, they are not going to trust you, anybody. So that's all I can say. Yes.
So UKIP around privatisation.
Okay. Just let's go to the one where how are we going to help if we do get elected. I think we need to work together.
No, hang on, we're going to do that as a separate question. I want to get specifically a question about, if you're against privatisation of the health service and your party is for it, why aren't you standing as an independent?
Because I'm not standing as an independent, full stop, I'm standing for UKIP. And that's the answer to that one. There's different priorities that I have. From even if I stood as an independent, I believe UKIP have a balanced policy with regards to control of immigration, and also with the money that we blow away to Brussels, etc. And I could keep going on and on and on, but I'm not going to carry on doing that. We know where UKIP stand on it. That's why I support that side.
Okay, thanks, Simon. Crispin, on the Labour Party.
Yeah. Thanks for your question. The thing about the Labour Party is it is a democracy. We do discuss in Labour meetings, and we bring motions forward to the party, and we make our views heard to them. Tony Blair is of the past. He is what was called new, but he's actually old new, if you want to call it that. If I can...
We want a public apology for what he's done, not what he's now.
Hang on, let's. We've been very good so far. Let's Crispin finish. If I can kind of say, hang on, there is an issue around privatisation. Yes, Tony Blair has gone, but actually the Labour Party does still believe in competition in the NHS, isn't against all privatisation, is for the purchaser-provider split. So I think there's an unease about that amongst a number of people, and I think that's why it's not just about the past. Is that a fair question? Okay.
Well, thanks for that clarification there on that particular issue. I actually, what I was trying to say is that the policy of the Labour Party has not been fully written, obviously, for the general election, and we have to press for Labour to address those points you're saying, and that is the way we work. I, as a Labour Party member and as a candidate, am doing all I can to fight for those issues you said. I believe Charing Cross Hospital needs to be fought for. That is the #1 campaign that we have been conducting in Chiswick. We are not interested so much in anything else other than saving Charing Cross Hospital. It means more to me than anything. And I can only speak on this campaign that I'm making locally. As far as Ed Miliband's concerned, I have met him once on Waterloo Bridge for 2 minutes. But I didn't get a long conversation with him. But I do believe that it is not a dictatorship of Ed Miliband says and therefore that the party follows. We have discussion, we have people like Andy Burnham in the party who are speaking up for the NHS all the time. I don't want to get into an argument about is Labour the perfect party, because I think every party has discussion and disagreements and no party is perfect, but I think Labour is doing as much as it can on this campaign in Hammersmith and Fulham and in Chiswick. We are making that issue the biggest issue. If you look at Hammersmith and Fulham campaign, as you know, that with the Grim Reaper, it's getting right under the Tory skin, and if Labour does make some headway in that election, I think the Tories will be scared and will reconsider what they're doing. And that is the best hope I think we have at the moment. I can't remember, the other one was that's it, have I done enough? Okay.